ಆಫ್ ಮಾಡ. ಹಲೋ ಮೈತ್ರಿ, ಹೇಳಮ್ಮ. ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ 30 ನೋಡಿ, 11:30. ಓಕೆ ಓಕೆ.
ಇಲ್ಲ
ಫೋನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದ ಸಂಜೆ ಬಂದು ಇಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಆಮೇಲೆ
ಜನ ಹೇಳಿತ್ತು ಏನೋ ಪಾಸ್ವರ್ಡ್
ಹಾಕೊಟ್ಟೈತೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ, ನನಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಪಾಸ್ವರ್ಡ್.
ಮೇಡಮ್ ಕಟ್ಟಂಗಿಲ್ಲ ನನಗೆ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಹಾಕೊಂಡೆ, ಏನು ತೊಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ.
ನೋಡಿ ತೋರಿಸ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ ಅದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ.
ಸಾಯಿರಾಜ್, ಸಾಯಿರಾಜ್, ಸಾಯಿರಾಜ್. ಒಂಚೂರು ಇದು ಕೊಡ್ಬಾ. ಇದು ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಶೇರಿಂಗ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು. ಏನಿಲ್ಲ, ಮಾತಾಡಿದವ್ರಿಗೆ ಕೇಳುತ್ತಾ? ಅಡ್ಮಿನ್ all of you listen. Sri Lakshmi, can you listen? Hello, Maitri, can you listen?
Hello, hello.
Hello,
Yes,
can you listen?
Yes,
Yes, okay. All of you observe here. Say, last class we discussed about the 4-stroke petrol engine and the 4-stroke diesel engine. Say, this is the animation. So how the petrol engine works according to the stroke. All of you observe the screen. Observe the screen and animation of the four-stroke petrol engine. Okay, this is the first stroke. The piston moves TDC to BDC during this stroke. At this time, intake valve is open, outlet valve is closed. See, all of you observe here. The partial vacuum which is created in the cylinder because of movement of the piston downward direction, air and petrol mixture is enters inside the cylinder. All of you observe here. As soon as the stroke is completed, inlet valve is open. Again, the piston moves upward direction. Compression of the fuel, that is petrol and air mixture, takes place. All of you observe here. Piston moves upward direction. At the end of the stroke, the spark plug starts to release the spark which ignites the petrol and air mixture. See that the petrol and air mixture ignites and releases enormous amount of heat.
So there's a lot of network problems, sir. Nothing is audible.
See, this is the exhaust stroke. Okay, the burnt gases are exit out. Make the exit.
So nothing was
make the
audible
exit.
from the past video.
Pardon?
So
Pardon? The
Sir,
carbon
ಹಿಂದಿನ ಏನೋ
dioxide,
ಕೇಳಿಸಿಲ್ಲ.
carbon monoxide, nitrous oxide. See, the exhaust gas is released outside. Who is writing on the screen? All of you observe here. 4 strokes. Suction stroke, compression stroke, working stroke, and exhaust stroke. Please ask me question. Ask me the question. Sairaj? See, all of we discussed about four-stroke petrol engine and four-stroke diesel engine and the Otto cycle and the constant volume cycle and the constant pressure cycle. Next, come to the point, the two-stroke petrol engine. Say one cycle of the engine completes in two-stroke. That is, say all of you observe here. This is the two-stroke petrol engine. This is two-stroke petrol engine. What all the components present here? Just all of you observe here. Say in the diesel engine, the compression of air and diesel mixture takes place due to the compression of air, which ignites the air and fuel mixture. But here, the ignition of the air and petrol takes place by using spark plug. See, all of you observed in the animation, the spark plug. Say, first, say, the construction of a two-stroke engine is entirely different from four-stroke engine. So, what are the things present here? First, main components are piston, piston rings, connecting rod, crankshaft, and this is the circular casing which you are observing here. This is called crankcase. Crankcase. This is made of aluminum alloy, aluminum with 8% silica. If it is two-wheeler, and if the heavy engine is there, then they produce the crankcase by using cast iron. So what are the components present here? All of you go through one by one. First, cylinder, piston, piston rings, connecting rod, crankshaft, crankcase. And here there will be three ports are there. One is inlet port, exhaust port, and a transfer port. Remember, you have here three ports. One is inlet port, exhaust port, and a transfer port. All of you observe here. This is the transfer port. The function of inlet port, exhaust port, and the transfer port are very, very important for four-stroke petrol engine. One complete cycle is completed in two movements of the piston up and down. That is top dead center to bottom dead center. All of you observe here.
क्लास क्या होता है?
All of you observe here. Huh? Say what are the components present here? Starting one by one. First cylinder, piston, piston ring, tank, crankshaft, crankcase. Next, inlet port, exhaust port, transfer port. Say first, the two movement of piston from top to the bottom. That two movement of the piston completes one cycle of the engine. That is, everything is complete in two movement of the piston from top to the bottom, bottom to the top. For that reason, it is called two-stroke. The name itself indicates two-stroke. Say first, the petrol and air mixture. You have a idea. So in all the two-wheelers, you might have seen the carburetor. The air and petrol mixture coming from the carburetor, which is sucked inside the cylinder, and also the crankcase due to the vacuum created by the piston for moving the piston up and downward direction. Remember, the vacuum is created inside the cylinder because of movement of the piston from bottom to the top and top to the bottom. All of you observe here the piston at the EDC, because the vacuum is created here, the petrol and air mixture coming from the carburetor, which is sucked inside. All of you observe here. The crankshaft rotates in the anti-clockwise direction, and due to the vacuum, petrol and air mixture, which is sucked inside the cylinder and the crankcase Next, come to the point. As the piston moves from top to the bottom position in the first stroke itself, whichever the petrol and air mixture present here, which is compressed. Say, all of you observe here, which is compressed. At that time, all of you observe here, the transfer port is there, which is covered with the piston, All of you observe here, the transport port is covered. The piston uncovers the transfer port, and whichever the fuel and air mixture which is coming here, that is compressed here. And again, all of you observe here, that is the inlet valve is open, and the meantime the transfer port is also open. Whichever the fuel and air mixture is present in the crankcase, which is pressed against in the top portion of the cylinder, where the spark plug is present. At this end of this stroke, or in the meantime, which is the air and petrol mixture is compressed here, which is ignited by the spark plug, which is coming from the spark plug. So the ignition of the fuel, that is fuel and air mixture, that is petrol and air mixture, which is here, which is present in the top portion of the cylinder, which is present here, and that is compressed here. See, all of you observe here, this is the compression stroke. Due to that compression, the piston moves downward direction. All of you observe here, the rotary motion, that is a reciprocating motion of the piston, is converted into the rotary motion of the crank in the crankcase. say the one cycle of the engine completed by the two stroke of the piston from top to the bottom, bottom to the top. The top position is always called as top dead center and the bottom position is called bottom dead center. So in the two stroke engine, the crankcase here present here that serves as the chamber where you can compress the air and petrol mixture that is possible, and the whichever the air and petrol compressed air which is moved upward direction, when piston moves in the downward direction, transfer port is open and the air and fuel mixture rises upwards in the cylinder. All of you observe here, the transfer port is open, whichever the air and petrol mixture present here, which is rises inside the cylinder. All of you observe here. And next, that the whichever the air and petrol mixture present in the top portion, it is compressed, which is compressed at that time. Compressed at that time, the spark coming from the spark plug, which ignites the petrol and air mixture. Due to that burning of air and petrol mixture, the piston moves downward direction. Piston moves downward direction. Piston moves downward direction. Remember, all of you, the reciprocating motion of the piston is converted into rotary motion or circular motion of the crank through the connecting rod, Say, all of you say in some of the machine tools, the rotating motion is converted into reciprocating motion. In some of the machine tools, reciprocating motion is converted into rotary motion. So for that, good example is the shaper and the slotting machine. I will show you both the machines in the machine shop. We have both the machines. And very good example is in your house, many of you have the sewing machine where the circular motion of the wheel is converted into reciprocating motion of the needle. In the same way, here also reciprocating motion of the piston converted into rotary motion of the crank through the connecting rod. Say in this engine, that is two-stroke petrol engine, a complete one cycle carried out by the two-stroke of the piston. Piston moves up and down and up the two times. That the stroke of the piston is two times. All of you observe here. This is one first step. This is the middle step. It is the intermediate step, and this is the final step. So that is the completion of the cycle takes place. That is the piston movement from the top to the bottom and bottom to the top. That is two stroke of the piston, which completes one cycle. Once again, all of you observe here the major or what all the components or parts present in two-stroke petrol engine. Come to the point. All of you observe here. First, see, all of you see the two-wheeler engine, that is the fins. Say the metal portion which is covered inside looks like a fins. That is the fins on the fish. All of you see the fins present on the fish. The same fins are present on the engine head. This is called engine head. The bottom portion is called engine block. Say top portion is called engine head, which has the fins. In that you have the engine cylinder, and in this engine cylinder the piston moves up and down. So in two-stroke petrol engine there will be three ports are present. Remember, three ports are present. One is inlet port, second one exhaust port, and third one is transfer port. Depending upon the movement of the piston, the inlet port, exhaust port, and the transfer port are open. or closed depending upon the movement of the piston. In the first stroke, the piston at the top position, due to the movement of the piston in the top position, a vacuum is created in the cylinder which sucks the petrol and air mixture inside the cylinder and also inside the crankcase. So as soon as petrol and air mixture enters the crankcase, which is compressed here, passes upward direction through the transfer valve and coming into the top dead center of the cylinder. In this stroke, during this stroke, the inlet valve is closed, transfer port is open, and the exhaust port is also open. And at this time, the fuel and air mixture, which is rises upwards through the transfer port and fills the top dead portion of the cylinder, and compression takes place in this stroke. The end of the two-stroke compression takes place. At that point, the spark plug produces the spark. That spark ignites the fuel and air mixture. Fuel is the petrol and air mixture is ignited, and the expansion of the gas takes place. Due to that, the piston moves downwards. Remember, all of you, scavenging. The word scavenging, SCAVENGING, scavenging. Scavenging means that is allow the petrol and air mixture to fill the cylinder. In the meantime, the exhaust gases to be released outside. Scavenging. The word scavenging means to suck the air and petrol mixture into the cylinder. At the meantime, make the exhaust gas to release outside. Fill the cylinder with the fresh charge and release the exhaust charge to the atmosphere through the silencer or through the exhaust port. Release the gas to the outside. All of you remember, the completion of one complete cycle takes place, the movement of the piston 2 times. That is nothing but two-stroke petrol engine. The movement of the petrol, that's the movement of the piston from top to the bottom to the top. That you can abbreviate EDC and BDC. So the ignition of the petrol and air mixture takes place in the middle of the second stroke. Due to that, expansion of the gases take place and the piston moves downward direction. The word scavenging is used here. Scavenging means the cylinder is filled with the fresh stock. In the meantime, exit the burnt gases to the atmosphere. That is nothing but the releasing the exhaust gas to the atmosphere. The entire operation, entire working of engine, that is completed in two-stroke of the piston. So this is enough for you today's class. Now I make unmute to all if you have any questions regarding two-stroke petrol. Maitri, you have any doubt?
Altan Kutirlu.
Hello? Lakshmi, you have any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay. Nikhil, can you listen? Nikhil Gowda?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions regarding two-stroke and petrol engine? Okay. Now at this stage, at this point, and I will continue in the next class.